Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Phoenix and this is the Consumer's Guide to Filmmaking. Joker, 2019, Todd Phillips. This film follows a man named Arthur Fleck. A clown for hire and struggling to get a career and stand up off the ground, Arthur trudges through life, barely making ends meet in Gotham while taking care of his elderly mother Penny. One night on the subway, a group of drunk businessmen harass and assault Arthur. Taking no more, Arthur snaps and shoots them all. This act causes a chain reaction, forever altering the city and leading Arthur to become someone who would forever haunt Gotham's Dark Knight, the Joker. This film is my Black Panther. This movie empowered me. It helped me get over my rejection from the female known as Veronica, who'd rather date a Chad instead of a true gentleman who would treat her well. Amazing cinematography and a great performance from Joaquin Phoenix, who has fortunately moved on from artsy-fartsy hipster trash like her. Films like Joker are true art that often get misunderstood by filthy normies who watch MCU kiddie movies instead of challenging, thought-provoking kino like Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. That never is not gonna make me laugh. Oh god, that's so funny. Anyways, I don't really think I'm as high on this film as when I first saw it. Not that I could be considered high on it in any regard, but I definitely still think there is something special about this film. To start, the obvious indictment that can be made about this film is that it's not exactly original. Director Todd Phillips, who wrote the screenplay with Scott Silver, openly took inspiration from Martin Scorsese, specifically the films Taxi Driver and The King of Comedy. This indictment is one I wholeheartedly get behind. It is an incredibly surface level and over-the-top rendition of those movies, taking the themes and ideas of those films and reducing them to an incredibly ham-fisted and thin level. It is truly baby's first Taxi Driver, let me say. Like, come on, did you actually think Arthur there actually pulled Zazie Beetz? Come on. Even on first watch, it was obvious it was all a delusion. It's just so on the nose with everything. But that weakness, oddly enough, simultaneously becomes the film's strength. This is because I find it really fascinating how Todd Phillips took these ideas and applied them to Batman. What Todd Phillips effectively did here was deconstruct and really put under the microscope what exactly Batman is and what the world of Gotham is like. Gotham in this particular film, not that it wasn't in any other Batman movie, but in this particular film, is a crime-ridden hellhole, a city where wealth inequality is at its peak, and the safety nets for those barely able to survive are borderline non-existent. In this world, Thomas Wayne is presented as what he would be if Thomas Wayne were a real person. A rich, right-leaning socialite who couldn't give two fucks about the average man if he tried. Then there's Arthur, one of the many lost souls Gotham has devoured. Arthur's actions, as alluded to, created a ripple effect in this universe. Killing 3 Wayne Investments employees, Arthur Fleck's actions forced Thomas Wayne onto TV, who lets the curtain slip and refers to his voter base as clowns, causing widespread civil unrest. The next major domino to fall is Murray Franklin deciding to mock a mentally ill man on live TV. Allowing Arthur a national stage by inviting him on his show, the killer now has a face. His words galvanize a population of disenfranchised people, and Arthur finally found the power to stand up, giving those who decide to mock the less fortunate what they fucking deserve. Now, yes, Arthur is a disturbed man who committed a murder on live TV and started a citywide riot that probably devastated the population. Like, straight up, he's the fucking Joker. Come on. He's not the hero in this situation. After this movie and I guess not the events of the next one. We'll talk about that in a bit. But supposing, that movie didn't shit the bed, the J-Man was gonna do some heinous shit. But, the deaths of Thomas and Martha Wayne are now put in this incredibly enthralling lens. Thomas Wayne was no saint, and some corpo getting shot is not a big loss for the world. This then makes us think of what happens to Bruce. We all know what Bruce becomes, but now we have to wrestle with why Bruce becomes what he becomes. In this world, Bruce becomes, because the people his father belittled and probably helped impoverish stood up and said no more. Bruce's adult life now can be seen as some spoiled rich kid taking out his trauma on a population that his family kept down. The 1%, armed with a multi-million-dollar war arsenal, is beating up the poor because a dude in makeup caused the workers' revolution. And that 1%er's father was a victim of all that. It's fascinating. And that, my friend, is why I think this movie's special. In our lead role of Arthur Fleck, Joaquin Phoenix turns in a performance that was more than worthy of an Oscar win. Dropping an unhealthy amount of weight for this role, this man embodies the mental anguish of this character perfectly. Bringing to life Philip's sad interpretation of the Joker's iconic laugh, Joaquin's cackling was awkward when needed and utterly heart-wrenching when required. His Joker mannerisms and the way he carries himself near the end is informed by such a tragic foundation. It is absolutely brilliant. With a brilliant supporting cast including Francis Conroy, Brett Collins, Zazie Beetz, and the legendary Robert De Niro. Those close to Fleck were performed excellently. But let's not downplay director Todd Phillips here, because he does an amicable job in the big chair. Visually, I love how Todd lights his setting. Using natural light and emphasizing the dark of the night, he turns Gotham into this very dour and depressing setting. In terms of editing, while the twist was super obvious, I respected that they at least attempted to hide it through what shots they showed when. It isn't the most impressive of movies visually, but there is at least some things to admire about it in those regards. Another big aspect of the film is music. Composed by Hildur... I'm not saying that. She managed to create the perfect atmosphere for this film. A cello player, the pieces she wrote for this score are these slow, foreboding dirges. These pieces sit quietly in the background and make every scene incredibly uncomfortable. Beyond the score, there is some licensed music. In what has now become an iconic scene in the pop culture zeitgeist, Gary Glitter's Rock and Roll Part 2 being used for Joker dancing down the steps, that song is forever going to be associated with that scene. The other songs used were fine, but they were either overplayed or really obvious songs. But it's the Gary Glitter song that steals the show here. Production design-wise, Todd Phillips' team did a great job of creating the look of Gotham City. Shooting in the New York, New Jersey area, the locales were gussied up for this film, including using a hospital in Harlem as the basis for Arkham Asylum. It enveloped you in the world of crime and poverty. It's an obvious yet decent reflection of New York City at that time in the 80s. Since this is an R-rated film though, there's naturally going to be some violence. The most notable of which is when Glenn Fleshler's character gets utterly BTFO'd with a pair of scissors. For a cape shit film, that was fucking gnarly. And the prosthetic work and the blood spraying everywhere looked really good. Also, De Niro getting shot looked nice as well, Overall, I think I could gladly refer to Joker as some Cape Kino. Examining the film in a vacuum, it doesn't scream unique vision, as it is a festering, unapologetic piece of Scorsese worship. But in applying the ideas of some of Scorsese's best films to the world of Batman, Todd Phillips stumbled into an incredibly unique interpretation of the Batman mythos that I rank among the best in that category. With Joaquin absolutely stealing the show, and Todd Phillips purporting himself in a solid manner as a director, Joker will definitely be remembered as one of the highlights of Cape Shit's reign at the top of the pop culture zeitgeist. If you haven't seen it, give it a chance, as it may actually impress you. Of course, For those that have, give it a rewatch before you watch the sequel. Recommended. Yeah. And I'm feeling an 8 out of 10 on this one. It's quite good. Yeah. Catch you later, guys.